guys, welcome back to episode number 9 of the Totally Worth It podcast. I promise you I'm not sad, we're just tired. Hello, dear.
Hi.
What's up?
You know, life. Yeah.
Are you sleepy?
Not really.
Yes, you are. Don't lie to me.
I am. I just want a nap. I'm not like sleepy because we're doing this in the middle of the day.
Why are we doing this in the middle of the day?
Because somebody signed up to work extra duty tonight, so we can't film this tonight.
Yeah, I had to work overtime tonight, so we are recording the podcast during Joanna's nap time. When we just put her down, and we both really would have loved to go on and take a nap.
Yeah.
But Haley, in all her mysteriousness as a woman, just looked at me a few minutes ago and said, "Hey, I got an idea. When we're done with this, why don't we go outside and paint all of our kitchen chairs black?" I said, "Hey, what? Thought you were tired."
Yeah, but then now I'm awake.
But I'm not.
Well, that's your fault.
That's your chair's fault, not mine.
No.
So I hope everybody's doing well. Episode number 9. We're almost at double digits.
Yeah.
You know, we've almost made it to 10 episodes.
Yeah, and that means we're like halfway to having this video stuff figured out.
Yeah, we got to really get this done.
We got to find some chairs.
I've been trying so hard, but you are so particular and just can't.
We have a black wall now. We're not doing black chairs. We're not doing blue chairs.
Okay. We'll find some freaking chairs,
I found chairs. You just don't want to spend that kind of money.
Yes, because it's not worth it.
Okay, whatever. We're going to be in here for a long time, are we not?
Yes,
I mean, where else are we going?
We are, but we have to have the money to buy the chairs.
Okay.
I don't need to go take out a loan to buy 2 chairs.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're halfway to 20 episodes when we're going to start video, and we have a futon and a fold-out yard chair,
and a black wall,
and a black wall, and that's where we're at right now. We're working through it. We make
progress.
I wouldn't say that we're struggling, but we are definitely slow moving on it.
Yeah,
because there's so many things going on.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There is a lot. We've been very busy. First off, let me say that the podcast stats have been super awesome, that people have been going back. You can see on the stats that people have been going back and listening to previous episodes and kind of getting caught back up. It's kind of cool to watch that because you can see where people are, I guess, finding it for the first time and coming aboard, if you will, and going back and catching up. And now some of them are up to date and waiting on the next to drop. And so, yeah, we kind of really hammered down on the Monday night thing. Yeah. So our episodes are coming out every Monday night now, specifically Monday night. And if we weren't that concrete to that, then we would have definitely recorded this tomorrow.
Yeah, I really thought long and hard about it too.
I didn't even want to pose the question because I knew you'd probably end up talking me into it, and I'd feel bad the whole night.
Why would you have felt bad?
Because tonight's my night to be able to edit it and get it all done.
Okay.
But anyway, I knew that you were thinking it.
Yeah,
I knew you were. That's why I didn't say anything. But things have been busy. Hence the yawn.
Yeah, they have been busy.
That was talented, though, because I didn't hear it in the microphone. That was good.
I completely turned away.
You did a good job on that.
Thanks.
But we have been busy. I just got off of working 3 nights in a row, and y'all have been doing y'all.
Yeah.
Did y'all have a busy weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I worked Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Yesterday we were at church. What felt like all day.
Yeah.
I mean, we were only home for like 2 hours. So, yeah.
It's busy.
It is busy.
Busy living life, living the dream.
Yeah.
I remember growing up going to church Sunday morning and Sunday night, and I absolutely hated having to go back on Sunday night when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And then when I got older as a teenager, I was like, God, I do not want to go to that. And now I'm like, God, I wish I could go to that.
Yeah. Joe loves it though.
Yeah.
She had fun last night.
She does have a blast.
It
with
was
her
really
friends.
good last night.
I bet. I heard that he preached on my favorite Bible story.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that in a little bit.
Okay.
On weeks like this, it's hard to have family time because we're so separated and on missions, and I'm working, y'all are doing y'all's thing. It's so difficult for us to all just like be together.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking about that earlier today and last night, that how much I wished I was when I came home to get my lunch. I was wishing that I could have stayed and just hung out with y'all.
Yeah. Maybe one of these days, day shift will be in your cards, but it's just not looking too hot right now.
It's not looking too great right now. Those cards have definitely not lined up. It's harder to have that family time when you work at night.
Well, and not only that, we have so many moving parts to our family.
Yeah. Such as?
Like you work nights. I stay home with Joe, but I also run a business.
Yeah.
We're trying to get more involved in church. But we still try to make time to do things with friends.
Yeah.
Man, it somehow managed to cook dinner. That for me is like the thorn in my side.
That's hard.
It's hard because days I work, I get up at 6:30.
Yeah.
I get ready. Then Joe wakes up. I get her ready. I'm packing lunch, packing her stuff. We're out the door. I take her to your parents, drop her off. Then I go to work till 6 o'clock. I leave work at 6, go pick her up, which is in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Then I come all the way home. By the time I'm home, it's 7:30. She's supposed to go to bed at 8. I still haven't cooked dinner.
Yeah.
Half the time I forget to lay something out to thaw or stick in the crock pot.
Yeah.
So it's
and I'm leaving at 2.
Yeah, and you leave at 2. We never even see each other. The days you work, Joe doesn't even see you.
I know, it sucks.
Because half the time when you wake up, she's going down for a nap in the middle of the day.
I hate that.
It's just it never stops.
It never
quite. But it's we created all this ourselves. It's not
we chose it.
We did. We chose it.
It's just a matter of figuring out along the way how to.
I don't regret any of it.
It's
our life.
Yeah, it's part of life. Yeah.
But
figuring out how to make it all work, I guess, is the.
And then it's the couple days that I'm not at work, I have a list a mile long of stuff that needs to be done in the house. Laundry is never caught up. Never. But it's I don't even want to stay at home because I'm this is my time with Joe. I want to take her and do things, go to the park, go do this, just get her out of the house. But then I'm oh God, I just want to take a nap. Because by the time she gets in the bed, I try to straighten up the house, and then I take a shower.
Yeah.
And then it's 10 o'clock, and I'm okay, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to try to read my Bible. Half the time I fall asleep in the middle of that.
Yeah.
And then I've been telling myself for 3 weeks now, I'm just going to bite the bullet. I'm going to go back to the gym, and I'm going to make myself get up when you come home and go at 4:30.
Excuse
while y'all
me?
are still asleep and I'll be back before she wakes up. But then I'm but I don't get to lay in the bed till 10:30. So how am I supposed to get up at 4? I want to go back to the gym so bad.
Wait, what do you mean you don't lay in the bed until 10:30? What does that mean? What do you mean?
I don't get in the bed until 10:30. So I'm not really asleep till 11.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? Sleep for 4 hours and then get up?
I mean, that's pretty much what I do.
You sleep longer than 4 hours.
Most of the time I get in the bed about 5 and then I'm waking up between
12 and 1.
Nah, that's only when y'all are gone, bro.
Okay, which is another reason why I try to stay gone when I'm home.
When y'all are home, it's 10:30.
No, I try to give you till 11.
You do. Joe doesn't.
I know, and I try, which is another reason why I try to stay gone. I need you on day shift.
I know. I would like to be.
I need to talk to your supervisors.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna like that conversation right now.
Yeah, they wouldn't really like me in that
I'm
conversation.
I'm sure they wouldn't either. Yeah. It's hard because it's almost like when you're married and have kids, you have one big life together, and then you have 3 individual lives as well.
Yeah.
And my life is pretty much spent at work. Your life, which sounds so depressing, but my life is pretty much spent at work. Your life is spent with Joe. And then Joe's life is just like whoever's game to hang out with me today, whatever day. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then all of those 3 come together and combine into one on a rare day when all 3 of us are just
Yeah, and
there,
it sucks because usually the day you're off, either I have to work and you're keeping Joe, or if it's like today when I'm not working and you're off, you signed up for off duty.
Yeah, but we talk.
I mean, we know that it's coming, but it's still
like I did it without you knowing.
Yeah,
about
but it's like a month in advance, so I forget about it, and then I'm like, okay, yes, we finally have a day off. And it's like, nope, gotta go to work tonight. And I'm like, dang it, dude, like we can't do anything because, and I think another part of why night shift gets under my skin so bad is because your half of your first day is over with.
Yeah.
Before you even wake up. Yeah. So it's like you have today off and tomorrow, but you didn't wake up till like 10 today. So it's like, I mean, today was more normal, but usually, I mean, it's like 11:30, 12 o'clock. And then if we want to leave the house, getting you up and trying to leave, it's like 1 o'clock. Well, 1 o'clock's Joe's nap time. So now we can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's like the whole day.
And then we end up just going to eat for dinner somewhere. And then come back home.
And it's like you can't make plans to do anything. The whole day is shot because you're still trying to shake off night shift.
Yeah, it sucks, man.
I hate it.
I mean, I'm not going to say that I hate it, but I definitely would prefer days better.
Yeah.
It would work a lot better, and it does work a lot better with family, especially when you have kids, especially little kids.
Yeah.
It did not work when Joe was an infant.
Yeah.
But
yeah, when she was an infant and when she was born and you were all nights, I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
I for real thought I was going to die.
Well, on days, you mean?
No, it was nights. Because then you got switched to days.
I started on days.
You started on nights.
But that was FTO, though. That doesn't count.
You were still on night shift.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like the first year.
I just remember waiting on you to come home at 4 a.m. and me and Joe would be like on the couch and she was a couple weeks old and I would be like, I really need him to come home because I just need like a couple hours. Because you would come home at 4 and take her and you would let me go sleep till the sun came up, which was like an hour and a half. And then you would come in there and wake me up and be like, I gotta go to bed. You're gonna have to get her. And I'd be like, bro, I've slept an hour and a half. And then you would go to sleep and sleep till like, you'd get at least 5 hours, 6 hours.
That's crazy because we talk about like, oh God, I wish we had a nap, but I forget about those times.
Yeah.
You know?
That was
those times
rough.
were terrible. Those were terrible.
I remember I was like, you got to get on day shift. And then you got on day shift and you weren't going to bed till like 10 o'clock because it just wouldn't have, like she didn't go to bed till 10 o'clock.
It was terrible.
Yeah. But we made it. Then you went back to night shift and you've pretty much been there ever since.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. How stressful is it because I have one thing. I do my job, and in my opinion, I do it fairly well.
Yeah, you do.
But I do my job, and I put a lot of focus into it, or at least I think I do. And that's all I have to worry about outside of home.
Yeah.
So with you've got Joe and a business. Mm-hmm. How does that ball of stress work itself out?
I don't know that it ever really does because mine doesn't stop. Like I don't clock out and go home.
Yeah.
Because even when I'm home after she's in bed, I'm like, okay, well, let me make ads for the week to post, or let me come up with what we're gonna do, or start planning the next event for a month out, or let me contact all these people and try to make sure everybody's
just the thought of that stresses me out.
Yeah, like we're planning a big spring thing in April, and I've spent like the past week just reaching out to vendors and trying to make sure everybody gets their business license, and it's just
while at the same time taking care of her.
Yeah. And then still working 10 to 6.
Does it subconsciously piss you off that I don't have to do that?
I've never really thought about that till
not in a way
now.
Not in a way that would like make you hate me or anything, but like just like I hate him. You know?
Yeah, because you just
hate it.
come home.
He just clocks out and comes home.
Yeah.
Because I'm clocked in 100% at both places. You have
and
to,
I'm not, and I hate that because when I'm home, I don't even want to look at my phone.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
is that why you don't ever answer my text messages?
No. I don't. You really got to fix my phone, by the way.
So she says that her phone does not.
It doesn't give me the notification.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't drop down on my screen, or it doesn't pop up on my lock screen. But if I happen to unlock my phone, my little messages box, it'll have a little one notification, and I'll be like, "Who texted me? I didn't get anything," and it's always you.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why is my phone not letting me know?
Yeah.
It's
That's
annoying.
Crazy.
But yeah, I mean, I don't hate you.
But obviously you're still married to me.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, there are definitely times when I wish I could be like, can you just do this? I don't want to do it. and me and Jessica talked a lot the other week when she was out that whole week because her kid was sick. We talked so much about how our desire to just be moms, and that's it, is so strong. And I love my business and I love what I do. Yeah. And in a way, I feel like that's my ministry.
Yeah.
But like, I don't even want to do it some days. I'm just like, I just want to be a mom and just be a mom. And we were like, can we just not open and just take our kids to the beach for the day? Yeah. What are you doing?
Nothing. Somebody was calling me and I was muting it on my phone. Oh. But I feel you on that. I mean, I'm sure that every mother who also has a job in general has days where they feel like that.
But then I also remember when I was just being a mom thinking, God, I wish I had something else that I could pour into that would make me something else besides a mom. Like, I love being a mom.
Never happy.
No, it's not that. I love being a mom, and I would not trade that title for anything. But when I was just a stay-at-home mom,
I hope you don't, because I don't want it.
When I was just a stay-at-home mom, I just remember thinking, like, who am I now? It's like I needed a new identity. Like I wanted something else to be able to work on or pour into, or that let me be Haley. Yeah. And not just Joe's mom.
Yeah, not mama.
Yeah.
Because you still want to have a sense of identity of yourself.
Yeah.
That was there before her.
Yeah.
And you want to try and maintain that somehow.
Yeah.
Because I feel a little bit like that in the sense that, like, before, and I think this podcast has actually helped me be able to release some of that, because there's such a need in my, like, to be creating something and doing something. Mm-hmm. And like when I'm faced with the choice where it's like, because there was a point in my life after we got together, before I took this job, where there was some certain things that I was doing that I was no longer able to do. with music and stuff like that, and
Mm-hmm.
not only because we had a child, but because of job and certain things, just didn't line up right,
Yeah.
and I had to kind of give that up. But I didn't necessarily have anything to replace it with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, anybody is going to say, "Well, you replaced it with your beautiful child," and that's all great, but that's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Even
Everybody needs something for themselves
yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah,
strictly for
yeah,
them.
absolutely. Especially something to help you in a therapeutic way be able to remain yourself.
Yeah.
Even for your mental health. I mean, that does wonders.
And I don't really know why. Maybe this is just who I am as a person, but I don't like the way you said, the way we just said, everybody needs something to do for themselves on their own that's just for them besides being a parent. I don't know why I chose to make mine like it we talk about it like it's a hobby that we're choosing. Like, this is a hobby for you. This is what you enjoy to do. But I made my hobby a job.
Yeah.
Like, why did I do that?
Yeah.
I mean, I do love it. I love clothes.
You could have done crocheting.
I mean, I would have not done that. But it's just, sometimes I'm like, why did I choose to make something for myself that is stressful?
Yeah.
Like,
and
hobbies,
work.
yeah, and it's work. But I thrive off of work, and I think that was another part of it, is I didn't want to quit working.
Would you say that you feel like that need that you felt to start your business was to, I could be wrong, but would you say that it gives you a sense, because you stopped working when you had Joe, obviously, and would you say that it kind of fulfilled that hole a little bit and gave you sort of a feeling of still being needed outside of your home?
Yeah.
Kind of deal.
Yeah, I think so.
Because for a man, I mean, we know, I know that my need is, I feel I'm always going to feel needed as long as I'm working.
Yeah.
And I'm going to feel like there's a need for me.
Yeah. And
here.
the type of job that you chose.
Yeah, but when you lose your job and you have a kid and you make the decision to do that, I feel like there's probably some doubt that creeps in as to whether you feel needed or not.
It for sure. And I think that's why I can't let anybody do anything in my business. Because it's like, I know this is my business and it doesn't work and it doesn't succeed. It doesn't do anything unless I do it.
Yeah.
And my business
That's
is always
very Wolf on Wall Street-ish of you.
Oh, I mean...
No, I get it.
Nobody...
I get it.
I mean, somebody could learn.
Yeah.
But at this point in time, nobody knows how to do every aspect of my business but me. And it's like I thrive on that.
You crave that.
Yeah. Like I'm...
Because it gives you a sense of accomplishment that it's like almost
and
like
it's
you're filling
thing.
a void that no one else can.
Yeah.
Kind of deal.
And it's the same way with being a mom.
Yeah.
Because when she was an infant, nobody could do for her what I could do.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like that same
And then
thing.
when they start to get a little bit older, it's like that kind of...
Makes me sad.
Kind of goes
because
away.
We don't have it's not like we have another one that needs me.
Kind of goes away a little bit.
Yeah. So it's like I just need...
You have to constantly keep that void filled or else you'll just
and maybe that's
crazy.
why I chose a business, because a business is always...
Yeah, until it's not.
Yeah, until I end it.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you on that. And with all of that stuff going on with you, your business, with me working a lot, I mean, since we bought our house and moved here, I've started working a lot.
Yeah.
I don't particularly like that, but I do on the opposite end of that coin. I know why.
Yeah.
I know what we're doing it for, and so I'm happy to do it.
Yeah. And we decided that going in.
Yeah, we decided that. We made that decision. We knew we were going to have to be in this position.
For a little while.
For a little while. So that decision wasn't hard to make. But I think the real question is for families who are out there who are dealing with similar ordeals. Maybe mom has 2 jobs or dad's got 2 jobs. Mom's at home with the kids. Everybody's just trying to make it work.
Yeah.
It's just the question is that everybody wants to know. The answer to is how. How do you?
I don't know. You just get up every day and figure it out.
How do you make it all work together? You know, together.
Yeah.
Not like how do you make all the parts work, but how do you all as a family make it work together as a unit?
Yeah.
And that's a hard question to answer.
Yeah,
because it's different for everyone.
Well, I feel like the answer is we don't. It's just
explain.
Like, I mean, we don't have it all together, and we don't have it figured out. And people might think that,
yeah,
because we get up every day and we just keep going.
Yeah.
But in reality, I've got a gigantic basket full of clothes.
Yeah.
That are dirty. The couch has 2 loads of clean clothes on it.
Yeah.
And there's dishes in the sink.
Yeah.
And Joe spilled crackers everywhere a minute ago. And once this hour's over with, I have to deal with it. And it never stops.
Yeah,
so
it never stops.
I don't think there's ever really a point where you...
But see, that's the thing, is that in this season that we're in, yes, that is true. But and it's so sad to say this, but there's going to come a time where you walk in your house from being out or whatever, and you look at it, and it's going to be clean the way that you left it, and you're going to be really sad and pissed about it.
Oh yeah, I get that 100%. I'm just saying.
That's just hard for me to understand.
Yeah,
that is coming.
Yeah, but I don't mean it in that sense. I just meant of how do we do it all together? We don't.
Yeah.
It's never all done. And I think that's just part of being parents. And
I think for us, it's easier. It's so easy to get discouraged as a young family, especially. I mean, to be honest, we've got 1 child, so we didn't know what we were doing before this, and we kind of still don't. We're just making it up as we go, trying to do the best we can.
And
by us.
Props to the families that have multiple kids and still deal with all these things.
Yeah, I mean, we have 1 and deal with all these things, and it's stressful. Yeah. I can't imagine having 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
I don't even want to keep going on
well,
that.
I mean, like yesterday, I was talking to one of my friends that has 3 kids.
Yeah.
What
a champ. Dude.
They're all fairly young kids.
Yeah.
Her husband owns a business. She works.
Wow.
And all we talk about is how freaking tired we are all the time. So it's just life, and I think it's just the season and the stage of life that we're in, and I think that's why you look forward to growing up and I guess getting older, is because then you transition out of the stage we're in now into something else, and then it keeps going, and then you hit retirement, and then you've got grandkids, and then it just, you know what I'm saying? There's different stages, and I feel like our grandparents, they were in the thick of it, like we were at some point.
It's just repeated.
It's just you don't feel like...
Yeah, you don't feel it while you're in it.
Yeah. I mean, it's like when I talk to your mom sometimes, and she talks about having both of y'all... I mean, you and your brother were 6 years apart. She worked nights,
she worked a lot,
second shift, like whatever it was. Your dad worked 24/7.
Yeah.
You just grind it out, make it work, and you're exhausted.
It was
and you
wild.
just hope to God that some grandparents are going to pick the kids up and keep them one night so you can breathe.
That's true. Ours are good about it though. We've got some good grandparents.
Yeah. The way your mom feels about your dad's parents doing so much for y'all is how I feel about them.
Yeah.
Because they come through.
Yeah, they do. They really do. They do be aggravating sometimes, but they do come through. and they've done a lot for us, and I'm very grateful for it.
Yeah.
Um, let's transition to another. So this week, for anybody who's listening, we didn't really have a lot of like major topics. For
Nothing
this,
like big or
nothing
super
big.
deep.
We just kind of wanted to have some personal,
Casual
conversations about a few things that have come up recently. One of them is church.
Yeah.
So it's no secret that it's hard. I guess how am I trying to say this? Everyone says they go to church in the South. Everyone.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Going to church and being part of a church are two different things.
Mm-hmm.
For the longest time, we went to church.
Yeah.
There were times where I felt like we were a part of a church.
Mm-hmm.
And then we kind of fluctuated back a little bit to going to church.
Mm-hmm.
And now I think that we are getting into a uncharted territory for us as a family.
Yeah.
That we haven't been in before.
Yeah.
How can you further explain that? What I mean by that, without saying that we're just like trash bag people.
No, I mean, I feel like.
Oops, sorry.
You good over
Trying
there?
to fix my chair. Sorry. Go ahead.
I feel like we've never, I say we, and I mean we, I don't know about you in the past, but we have never been a part of a bigger church that has multiple functioning parts that require multiple people. Yeah. And when they say there's a job for everybody, there really is a job for everybody.
Yeah. No, that's correct. I've never either.
Okay. What we grew up with was super small scale, and it didn't take more than the women of the church to make something work, you know?
Yeah.
And I think now that we've been presented opportunities to help serve in different ways at our church.
Because since you and I have been married, since we've been a family, we've fluctuated. I think it would be safe to say that we've fluctuated as to how involved we were. Yeah. But we've never really seeked out a way to get involved in our
it's
church.
Always just kind of happened.
Yeah.
Because it was everything's been such smaller scale.
Yeah. And so in a place like where we are now at Antioch at our church, and I don't mind mentioning the church name. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, why did we not?
I mean, several people listen to it, and I love it.
At our church, Antioch, we've been going there for a while now. We joined, 2 months ago?
No, it's March, babe. We joined in like the end of October.
Jeez, that's even worse. That even proves my point.
But
we've
been going there for a year.
Yeah, and so we've just now started like going to Sunday school, and like you and Joe are going to like Sunday nights and stuff when I'm working. Wednesday night when I'm off, I'll go. And I've only been a handful of times outside of Sunday morning.
Yeah,
and so we're kind of venturing into that area now where you figure out, okay, this is my church. This is where I want to be. These are the people that I love, and I enjoy being here. And I know in the back of my mind, especially as the man in the family, I know that there is something within me as a Christian, as a believer, that says I know that I need to be and should be, and I even want to be involved at some capacity at the church in serving in some way.
Right.
I know that. But figuring out what that is kind of is just, it's hard to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
because of my history, and I'll be honest with you, it kind of I'm kind of nervous about it because my history with church and serving has only 100,000% of the time since I was old enough to do it has been, oh, you can play guitar and sing? Okay.
Here's your job.
Come up here and do this. And that's great. And I don't mind doing that, but that's not like something that I'm really like passionate about.
Yeah.
And I don't know what within the church that I would be passionate about serving with, because I've never had the opportunity to be,
because it's always
do it,
just
because
been,
it's always
you can do music, you're doing music.
And I hate that.
Yeah.
And that makes me not even want to do that or even tell anyone.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you just told them. So.
Well, maybe. I don't know. Nobody probably listens to this from church, maybe.
There's a couple.
Maybe. But anyway, and not in a negative way. Like, I do love playing and singing, and I do enjoy that.
I know, and it kind of makes me sad that it has made you feel that way because you are so good at it.
Okay. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know.
No, whatever.
Don't blow my head up. Don't blow my head up. But yeah, I just did that so long growing up that it just...
Now it's like you want to find something else that might be your calling. I want
to do something fresh, you know?
Yeah.
And somebody recently, I'm not going to name them, they reached out to me about an opportunity to potentially serve in the church and in a certain area that I have never been a part of or experienced really outside of being in it when I was there growing up.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It caught me off guard, and I just feel.
Is it scary?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Intimidation.
It terrifies me because I know that I work opposite days every week, and I know there's going to be days where I don't get to go or be a part of it. And I think my internal fear is that I say yes, and then
you can't make it.
But in the back of my mind, my earthly nature is saying, bruh, you just learned how to make it to Sunday school on time. You think you're really going to be able to make it to all of this stuff and help and do this and that and actually help somebody?
Yeah.
Like that's what is in the back of my head.
Yeah. And that's just the devil.
I don't know it is, but it
doesn't mean it's not loud.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't mean it's not loud. And, so those are some things that I've been kind of going through my mind about. And I was actually talking to a friend last night about it. Because you are the way that you are.
What does that mean?
I needed to have that conversation with him. It's just different because there is a whole spectrum of things that a man can have a conversation with his wife about, and those two can come together and make a decision on things. I mean, probably 95% of things in life, that's okay. But there's some things that you just need another husband and father's opinion on.
Yeah.
How would they handle it?
Yeah.
If this happened to you, how would you deal with this?
And what did that person say?
We haven't finished the conversation yet.
Oh.
But I mean, to be honest with you, it's fairly personal. But I mean, I can tell you
okay.
I mean, I can tell you in private, but I don't necessarily feel comfortable sharing that part on the podcast. But we're still having that conversation. But anyway, long story short, there's an opportunity that has been presented that I'm scared to do, and I'm still mulling it over. Me and that other guy are having some conversations about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about it too. Because, one, I want to be able to, whatever I do it well. And
I'm with you on that.
I don't want to, I don't want it to look as like halfway doing it, because there's other things in life that just, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're only at church every other week.
Yeah, it sucks.
And
there's no way I can change that.
Yeah.
Zero.
You would literally have to change your career.
I'd have to quit my job.
Yeah. And I'm sure that there's I just lost my train of thought. You got me off guard.
Sorry.
And I know that there's people that still do these things and make it work. And I mean, like he even said, you know, in that message, like we'll work around your schedules, whatever.
Yeah.
But I want to be able to be there 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And it scares me because I don't know what exactly mine or our calling is.
Yeah.
Or like what our gift is.
You want to know something?
What?
This is something I've been thinking about ever since that dude messaged us.
Uh-huh.
That it is true. It's a true statement that I feel like we don't really know what we are called to serve in what capacity and how.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's also true that I'm scared to figure that out.
Yeah. Because are you afraid that it's going to like turn your world upside down?
No, not necessarily that. I've gotten to the point in my life where change is like sandpaper on my soul.
I mean, I feel like it's like that for anybody.
And I know that it's a great thing and it's a good thing. It's just I guess it's almost like I feel like a kid who's like drawing names out of a hat, and that one kid who like draws a name, he's like, oh, I don't want that name.
Yeah.
You know, I'm afraid that I'm going to like be called to serve in an area that's like, I don't know why I feel that way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, there's also a part of me that, because me and Jessica have talked about being able to do a lot of things with the business that we're in, and everything that we do is faith-based.
Yeah.
And we talk to and work with a lot of women, and a lot of times our work doesn't really feel like work because it's like talking to people. And I don't know, I feel like every day that we're open, we hear of somebody else's testimony, or we somehow end up giving ours.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's just women's ministry. And I feel like I've poured so much into my business. And when me and Jessica came together, it just like exploded, and like the town's growing, and I feel like that's my ministry. Mm-hmm. And because your ministry doesn't have to be in church.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
But it's like but then it's like I feel bad because I want to be in. I want to be in something in church, not just outside of church. But it's just hard, because then it's like I don't want to bite off more than I can chew.
Yes, that's my fear.
Like I don't want to help be a part in the community outside of church and have this ministry going, like we've talked about, you know, starting like women's Bible studies on like certain nights of the week, and like just growing and expanding. And then I don't want to be doing that and then agree to be a part of some other ministry at church, and then they clash and come together, and it's like, oh, I can't make this because I have this, or vice versa. And it's like, oh, well, I'm running this one, how can I not show up to this? But I've agreed. I don't know, I have a fear of disappointing people. And I'm the worst at it.
I agree.
And it's like, if that's even a possibility, I just won't even do it.
Do it. Yeah, I completely understand. I don't feel far from that. And my thing is, and I mean, you could go on about it for hours, but I think that my main fear is that we're going to I feel like my main fear is that we're going to get involved and realize it's too much for us family schedule wise, and then back out, and then I'm going to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
That's my fear.
Yeah.
And I know that's a stupid thing to think.
Yeah.
And like I told you, I've been having a conversation with one of my pals about it. And I know, and we've talked about that. That's a stupid way to look at it.
Yeah.
Because why does that keep doing that?
I don't know.
I don't
Mute
know.
it.
I'm trying, but when I muted it muted my ears.
Oh.
I don't know why that happened, but I'm
know.
gonna close out my messages on here.
Yeah, I don't. It sucks that we feel as if it's a fear, because then in the back of my mind I'm like, well, why do I fear that? Because do I not think that God is capable of making sure that we can handle all these things? And I'm like, why am I thinking like this?
And then also you think, what if God, what if this is God trying to tell us that this is, and what if he's telling us this is not, here's what's something that even scares me even more. What if this is something that God's telling me to do and not you?
Yeah.
That's even more scary.
Yeah.
Because then my mind runs down the provider list in my brain thinking, we've only got one car. If there's nights they're doing this, there's nights they're doing that. How are we going to get there? Leave Joe and her at home? Or what are we going to do? And I'm just like,
yeah.
Because I had a feeling when we were at Wednesday night the other week, and I hate to say this because I know that you're going to see this as some kind of sign.
Oh, God.
We were at the church Wednesday night the other night, and he was preaching, and I was thinking to myself, I wonder what they're doing in the youth thing. I bet they're having a better time. I know this sounds bad. I was thinking, I bet they're having a fun time wherever they're at.
Yeah. Well, I think I think you felt that,
that
way.
May
You
have
were
been the
thinking
day,
that because you had just got that message.
Maybe so. I don't know. And maybe it's something. Maybe it's not necessarily like a whole family ordeal. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's something that we need to keep talking about and mulling over.
Yeah.
But this was kind of helpful to discuss it a little bit more.
We just discuss everything with the public.
Yeah, with the public. I hate that this is doing that. Let's see here. I'm looking at our list of things. Yeah, so earlier you mentioned, we mentioned that he preached on my favorite Bible story the other night. What's your favorite Bible story?
Mine is the story of Paul and Silas being thrown in jail, and they were praising and worshiping, and their chains fell off and the doors swung wide open, and the guard woke up and was like scared to death. All these prisoners had like got out, and they were like, yo, we're still here. And he like was gonna kill himself because he was like, oh God, they've all ran away.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, don't do that. And they like told him how to be saved, and I don't know, I just love that story.
That's such a crappy day for that guard.
And I love that before that, like in that same book in Acts, like right before that happened, right before they were thrown in jail, Paul had just like cast out a demon out of this woman. And I don't know, I just love that. Like it just the thought of like praise and worship being that powerful. Like those they fell off. The chains fell off. Yeah. I just love that story.
Yeah, that's a wild one.
And it's just almost seems so supernatural.
Oh, it is definitely supernatural. To say the very least.
Yeah. Because like everybody sings that song like "Break Every Chain" now,
yeah,
and I'm like,
really,
and in my mind, every time I hear that song, I'm like, but they really did.
Yeah.
That story makes me so excited.
Paul's up in heaven, and he's like, y'all have no idea.
Yeah, like that story, it makes me so excited, especially when I hear that song. I'm just like, y'all don't even know. Like this song is about to just go to another level.
That's awesome. Where is that at?
Acts. Chapter 8, I think.
Do you have it pulled up?
8.
Or do you have it handy?
Acts 16, verses 16 through 40.
Good Lord.
I mean, that's just like the whole ordeal. Why? Is there something in particular?
No, I was just gonna get you to like skim through it real quick if you have it up.
Yeah.
Just for the listeners, some people may not be Bible enthusiasts or may not have it access to them, so they may not know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. It says, verse 16, and it came to pass as we went to prayer, a certain damsel possessed with a spirit of divination met us, which brought her masters much gain by soothsaying. The same followed Paul and us, and cried, saying, These men are the servants of the Most High God, which show unto us the way of salvation. And this did she many days, but Paul, being grieved, turned and said to the spirit, I command thee in the name of Jesus Christ to come out of her. And he came out the same hour.
God, that's crazy.
And when her masters saw that the hope of their gains was gone, they caught Paul and Silas and drew them into the marketplace unto the rulers, and brought them to the magistrates, saying, These men, being Jews, do exceedingly trouble our city, and teach customs which are not lawful for us to receive, neither to observe, being Romans. And the multitude rose up together against them, and the magistrates rent off their clothes and commanded to beat them. And when they had laid many stripes upon them, they cast them into prison, charging the jailer to keep them safely, who, having received such a charge, thrust them into the inner prison and made their feet fast in the stocks.
I wonder what it means by the inner prison.
I
meant like in their technical terms. I wonder what that meant.
But it says, And at midnight Paul and Silas prayed and sang praises unto God, and the prisoners heard them. And suddenly there was a great earthquake, so that the foundations of the prison were shaken, and immediately all the doors were open, and everyone's bands were loosed. And the keeper of the prison, awaking out of his sleep, and seeing the prison doors open, drew out his sword, and would have killed himself, supposing that the prisoners had been fled. But Paul cried with a loud voice, saying, Do thyself no harm, for we are all here. And then he called for a light, and sprang, and came trembling, and fell down before Paul and Silas, and brought them out, and said, Sirs, what must I do to be saved? And they said, Believe on the Lord Jesus Christ, and thou shalt be saved, and thy house. So.
Wow.
I love that story.
What an unbelievable story.
Yeah.
You know what the craziest part of that story is to me?
What?
That it's not what happened with the chains and all that stuff. Is that at the end of it, Paul and them were like, don't do that, bro. We're still here.
Yeah. Like, don't kill yourself. We
didn't
leave.
We broke all the chains, opened all the doors in this prison, but we're still here.
Yeah.
We were just doing it to show you
that our God can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's wild. Paul is what a guy. You know? What a guy.
He's who I can't wait to meet one day.
Really?
Yeah.
Paul
I don't know.
I got
like
a long
his name
list.
changed.
Yeah.
How many people can say that Jesus changed their name?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I don't like this one. You're not Saul no more, you're Paul.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's a perfect ordeal for him because he was such a bad guy. And he was known as Saul. Yeah. And everybody knew the bad guy as Saul.
Yeah.
God was like, nah, we can't call you that anymore. You wrecked that name.
Yeah. We got to give
you a new one.
And then the crazy part, what's even more crazy is that clearly people accepted it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, that's Paul.
They knew. Oh, yeah.
So what about you? What's your story?
We actually had a conversation about this the other day. In Mark chapter 5, there's a story about everybody in the South knows it as the story of the woman with the issue of blood. Mm-hmm. It's just a strange way to call it, but that is what it is. But it's about the daughter of this guy named Jairus. And this isn't really any of like the disciples or prophets or anything. This is just a story of Jesus during his ministry on earth.
Yeah.
Mark chapter 5. I'll read it real quick. It's pretty short. It says, And when Jesus passed over again by ship unto the other side, much people gathered unto him, and he was nigh unto the sea. And behold, there cometh one of the rulers of the synagogue, Jairus by name. And when he saw him, he fell at his feet, and besought him greatly, saying, My little daughter lieth at the point of death. I pray thee, come and lay thy hands on her, that she may be healed, and she shall live. And Jesus went with him, and much people followed him and thronged him. And I had to figure out what thronged meant, and it just means
Crowded.
they're crowded around him and bumping up against him and stuff. And then it says, and a certain woman, this is the same story, and a certain woman which had an issue of blood 12 years. So she had an issue of her
She'd
blood.
been sick.
She'd been sick for 12 years. And had suffered many things of many physicians, and had spent all that she had, and was nothing bettered, but rather grew worse. When she had heard of Jesus, she came in the press behind him, and touched his garment. For she said, If I may touch but his clothing, or if I may touch but his clothes, I shall be whole. And straightway the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of that plague. And Jesus, immediately knowing in himself that virtue had gone out of him, turned him about in the press and said, Who touched my clothes? And his disciples said unto him, Thou seest the multitude thronging thee, and sayest thou, Who touched me? And he looked round about to see her that had done this thing. But the woman, fearing and trembling, knowing what was done in her, came and fell down before him, and told him all the truth. And he said unto her, Daughter, thy faith hath made thee whole. Go in peace, and be whole of thy plague. So he healed this woman of her disease. But it almost feels like they forgot about the guy who was like, Hey, Jesus, my daughter's dying. My daughter's dead.
Yeah.
Or she's going to die if you don't help her. And then it says, While he yet spake, there came from the ruler of the synagogue's house certain which said, Thy daughter is dead. Why troublest thou the master any further? As soon as Jesus heard the word that was spoken, he saith unto the ruler of the synagogue, Be not afraid, only believe. And he suffered no man to follow him, save Peter and James. So he basically said, Nobody else can follow me here but Peter and James and John, the brother of James. And he cometh to the house of the ruler of the synagogue, and seeth the tumult and them that wept and wailed greatly. And when he was come in, he saith unto them, Why make ye this ado, and weep? The damsel is not dead, but sleepeth. And then it says in verse 40, And they laughed him to scorn. But when he had put them all out, he taketh the father and mother of the damsel, and them that were with him, and entereth in where the damsel was lying. And he took the damsel by the hand, and said unto her, Talitha cumi, which is being interpreted, Damsel, I say unto thee, arise. And straightway the damsel arose and walked, for she was the age of 12 years. And they were astonished with great astonishment. And he charged them straitly that no man should know it, and commanded that something should be given her to eat.
You know what's so wild?
What's that?
She was 12 years old, and that woman had a disease of blood for 12 years.
I wonder what do you think the I mean there's no way that's significant. I mean there's no way that that's coincidence. I mean there's got to be significance to that.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what it is, but I think it's cool.
That's interesting to think about. And it's funny because this is probably one of my favorite stories, because it's just so weird how Jesus is like doing his thing, and he's kind of going along with the flow. He knows that all these people are like seeing all these miracles that he's doing, and they're all following him around like a big crowd. He's a rock star, and he's following the day, and he's going, and all these people are around him and bumping up against him and whatnot. And then this guy comes up and tells him, Hey, my daughter's at my house down the street. And this is like a rich guy. and she's dying, and I need you,
And he was
and
a
you're
publican.
and you're the only one that can save her. I need you to come save her. And Jesus was like, well, let's go, big dog. Let's go. And so he starts heading towards the house, but then on the way, the woman with the issue of blood kind of, in somewhat of a selfish way, kind of puts a halt on that. And I feel
But
that.
I wonder, though, if, like, she just knew he was moving.
Yeah, I doubt that she even knew he was on his way somewhere.
Yeah.
Because she just pushed through the crowd and grabbed his coat.
She just
and
knew
that's
she
another
had to
that's
touch
another
him.
thing about this story, is it kind of goes to prove that you never know what somebody has going on. You never know what they're going through. I mean, all those people in that crowd, they all had problems, but this lady had a serious problem, and she thought, if I can just grab his coat, then I'll
You
be made whole.
really need to go back and listen to last night's sermon.
I do. This story is just I love it. I love it. And then the dude's house servant comes up after he heals the girl, and he's like, don't worry about bothering Jesus anymore. She's dead. And Jesus is like, hey, let's go.
Yeah.
We're still going to go. It'll be fine. It's just a very, very cool story. Here's a question for you before we wrap up. I know this will be a shorter episode this week. If you guys have any of your favorite Bible stories, by the way, I would love to know what they are, because that kind of leads into our next question, and this is a question for all the listeners as well. Why is it so hard to read the Bible consistently?
Are you asking me, or are you
I'm asking you. Yeah.
Oh.
And everybody.
I mean,
but they're not going to talk back until they hear the podcast. So.
I mean,
because I love God.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a born again believer. And it's really crappy, but it's hard for me. And it's hard for me to sit down and just read my Bible.
Yeah.
I've got so many distractions, so many things going on. It's just hard.
Yeah.
And I know that's crappy to even say that it's hard, because it's not.
Yeah.
You just do it.
But I mean, it is hard because the devil makes it hard.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be
And
easy.
recently, I'll be honest with you and the people listening, this past Sunday was like one of the first Sundays in a long time that like we got out of church, came home, and I actually like took my Bible in the house out of the car.
Yeah.
And even read it later that evening in the living room. And I had the best time, but I just don't do it. And I don't know. My mind plays a trick on me and says, you've got all of these other things you could be doing or enjoy doing or wasting your time doing instead of that.
Yeah.
And it's just so freaking hard.
Well,
I want to do it.
I've always wanted to be that person that sets their alarm, gets up, starts their day with it, get up before your kids, like have that time with God. Like I crave that. I want to be that person. But I've come to realize that's not me. That's not how my life works. And I feel like me and God, we have our time.
Yeah.
At 10 o'clock at night, after Joe goes to bed, and I've taken a shower, and I've sat down on the bed, and I'm like, oh, God, I just want to go to sleep. But I'm like, no, I'm going to read my Bible. I'm going to open it. And I never know what I'm going to read. I don't know where I'm going to start. I just like, I'll either pull out my notebook from like notes that I've taken from that Sunday. Sometimes I'll just like start with a scripture based off that, or sometimes I'll flip back through to like past notes that I've taken and like read over something and flip to that and start reading. And for the longest time, I tried to like make this goal of you have to read 3 chapters a day kind of deal. And I like, when I took that like restraint off of myself, it got a lot easier to read because I just read
Yeah.
until I was content or I fell asleep.
Yeah.
And then I've also found it's easier for me to pull up something or someone and listen. Like the other night, I listened to like a 20-minute clip off of Jensen Franklin. It was one of his sermons.
What a guy.
And
Love
I
that
just
guy.
like flipped to where he was going to preach about.
Yeah.
And I listened to it and like I took some notes from that and then just kind of like read for like 15 minutes
He's one of my
until
favorite preachers.
he really is. I like him a lot. But I'm not a morning, it's not going to happen for me. And I see all of these like moms and friends or whatever. And I really did try last year. I gave it a really good effort to be a read first thing in the morning before I do anything. But I find more comfort in it, and it's easier to do when I want to wind down. And this thing has become more of a distraction, but it's also helped me at the same time because I've really gotten back into reading and I love to read.
Yeah.
But I find myself like after Joe goes to bed and I go and take a shower and I'm like, oh, I'm about to get my Kindle and like read and go to sleep. And then I get this guilt. It's like, why are you going to pick that book up first when you haven't read my book?
Yeah.
So then I'm like,
well, that's the thing
okay. I start I'll read my Bible and then usually I'm so tired I just go to bed. But if by chance I'm not, I'll be like, okay, well now I can read my book for a few minutes and then go to sleep. It doesn't happen every single night. I'm not 100% consistent with it. It's harder for me to do it when you're here. But when you work, that's
I bring the devil to you.
No, but it's harder because when you are here on a night that we actually get together, that's like our time.
Yeah.
So I just have to carve out time.
One of the hard parts of it for me is that in my job, in my line of work, I literally am in a car by myself for 12 hours.
Yeah. Which to me
the fact that I can listen to every podcast under the sun and be up to date on every bit of news that is coming out from every outlet.
Yeah.
And still not read my Bible is mind blowing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not easy and it's not going to be easy, but I think.
But even the thought of listening, you can listen to it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like there is just zero excuse for me to not.
You're just going to have to make a conscious effort.
And I want to do that so bad because I have this past week or so that I've been reading something more.
Mm-hmm.
I've very much enjoyed it and I feel better.
Yeah.
I'm tired, but I feel better. And also I had someone recently at work basically kind of helped me see something about myself. And I guess I don't really know where I'm going with this, but it was someone that I did not expect it from.
Mm-hmm.
Someone that I didn't expect to get advice or encouragement from gave it, and it really came out of left field and threw me off because that person has never said anything like that before.
Yeah.
And I could see that they were really genuine about it, and it really kind of moved me.
Yeah.
And kind of really made me want to start like figuring out what can change.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. And I'm working on it.
Yeah.
And I guess ultimately I want to figure out a way to implement this whole conversation into something that we can do to integrate this into Joe's life.
Yeah.
Like, she's getting to the age now to where, like, we could do it in a fun, creative way, but we could easily, on the nights that we're all three together, get in the floor in the living room and read a Bible story from, a kid's Bible or something. Like, we could do that.
Yeah.
Instead of letting her watch a movie before she goes to sleep or something,
Yeah.
Like, I want to figure out some ways that we can not only do it for ourselves and make ourselves stronger, but help her as well, because she needs that.
Yeah.
And I want to do that with or for her. Yeah. So if you guys have any difficulty reading your Bible, let me know what you've if you've discovered ways to make it easier, or
like is there
tricks.
a book? Do you use
Are
a
there
certain devotional that's helped you do it?
Is there tricks that you've got that helps you? Or I'm curious. We want to know. I want to know.
I do want to get it's like a kid's devotional.
Yeah.
To do with her.
Yeah, I've been looking at the little kid's Bible.
Mine's in the top of her closet.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
I really like that one I seen at Trinity that night when we went to the Christmas thing. The Christmas tree Grinch Land thing we went to. They were selling them that night for like $20, and I should have bought one, but they were cool looking. I enjoyed the way it looked.
I don't remember seeing them.
Yeah, I'm sure you can talk to somebody. Jessica probably knows what I'm talking about. She could probably get her hands on one if we give her the money. But anyway, yeah. Wow.
Was that me or you?
That was me, I think.
Oh.
But yeah, like we said earlier, we just wanted to kind of have some personal discussions. Some of these things have been on our plate lately.
Yeah.
And sometimes when we talk about it here, it's easier for you and me to actually have a little bit more in-depth conversation about it, because Joe's not running around screaming.
Yeah, this is like our hour of carved out time.
Yeah, to talk through some stuff. But yeah, it's all good things. And like everybody, we're learning and moving and growing and figuring it out.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
I think I'm good.
Think you're good. Couple quick things. So the TikTok, thank you guys for the support. Our TikTok page, babe, is now at 119 followers.
Nice.
And 99 likes. So people are enjoying those little shorts that I've been making with the videos. And then our Facebook page, that we've actually seen some more interaction on this past week, is, let's see here. Where's it at? Facebook page. It is, we have how many? We have 120 followers on our Facebook page. 22 likes. So we appreciate you guys. If you're a follower on the Facebook page, we greatly appreciate it. If you guys wouldn't mind, whatever you're listening on right now, if you would hop over to wherever the button is on the Spotify or Apple Music and give us a review. Be honest. Tell them what you think. It helps us in the algorithm, helps us get the show in front of more people. So we appreciate you guys. And if you got any questions or any topics for future episodes, let us know. We would love to do that and answer any questions that you may have. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And if there's nothing else, dear, I'll wrap it up.
Okay.
All right. Well, you guys have a wonderful week, and we will see you back next Monday for episode number 10. The Big 10. Maybe we'll do something fun for the 10th episode.
We'll see.
We'll see. All right.